Sweet. Okay, well, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my fun little corner of the internet. Here we are going to talk about play as the antidote for burnout. So, quick housekeeping. You will just see and hear me during this workshop. So, feel free to keep your camera off. But you can use the chat box to your heart's content. So, totally open to questions. I will have a few prompts throughout this for you to answer there. And again, if you didn't catch me in the beginning, if you do want to grab a notebook or pull up something on your computer to take notes, I recommend you do so now. Okay, so today we are going to cover what play actually is and the science behind it, why rest alone isn't always enough to bring you back to yourself, what play styles are and how to use them to feel energized again, and how play can help you regulate your nervous system in 2 minutes or less. So, if you are looking for more presence, joy, creativity, lightness in your life without adding something extra to your plate, because nobody needs that, you are in the right place. Okay, I wanted to give you first a quick intro on me. My name is Christina Cherry. I am a burnout coach and a play educator. So, my mission is really to help people remember who they are and what lights them up so they can live a more curious, joyful life. Now, we all have a burnout story in some way or another, and I just want to name this up front. Burnout isn't only about work. It can come from caregiving, chronic stress, emotional labor, health stuff, financial pressure, grief, or just being the one who is always holding it together. Work is often where burnout shows up, but it is rarely where it starts. So for me, my burnout started pretty quickly after college when I was working in corporate communications. I became a caregiver in my family when I was very young. So I learned kind of early on how to deprioritize my own needs and overextend myself and quiet the voices telling me to slow down. And that training followed me into the workforce. It meant I was comfortable staying in the office until 10 p.m., comfortable saying yes to things regardless of my bandwidth, and just pushing through exhaustion in the name of dedication. I really, really struggled with boundaries and I kept taking on more and more and thought the burnout would just disappear. But as the saying goes, wherever you go, there you are. And my habits definitely followed me, and I was still constantly prioritizing responsibility over rest and productivity over presence. And I really treated joy like a reward that you earn after the job is done. So after the emails, after the laundry, after the grocery shopping. And what hitting rock bottom burnout wise taught me was that life isn't about waiting until everything is finished to feel okay. Your joy doesn't get deprioritized just because the bed isn't made. It does take practice, but you can build a life that you're genuinely happy to live inside of, regardless of what's happening at work. And play is how you do that, which is why I created something called Camp Playstate. It is a 6-week online program that helps people kind of like rebuild their relationship with joy and creativity and aliveness in a way that fits into their lives and helps them feel connected to themselves again. So, play. I want to take a little temperature check. When you hear the word play, I'm curious what comes up for you. Drop even just like one word in the chat of your initial impression of play. Does it feel good, inviting, triggering, scary, exciting? Let me know your initial impressions. Okay, fun, inviting. Love that. Joy. Love that. What else we got? Energetic, gorgeous. Anyone else? Freedom, nice. Bliss, I love that. Allowing, I love that. Amazing. So you guys all have a really healthy relationship with play. Oftentimes, what we hear is, I'm not good at that, or play feels silly, or play feels childish, or yeah, I don't have time for it. I'm not good at it. And like all those points are totally fair because play brings up this mix of emotions for us because we're told it's something that we have to outgrow or something that we have to earn after being productive enough. But the truth is that play is not a break from life. It is a way back into living. It's a frequency you can tune into. I think of it like a radio. So whenever you need more delight and wonder, you can tune into it, and it just takes a little practice. What I want you to know about play is that it's not acting like a kid or forcing yourself to have fun. It's about intentionally creating moments that make your nervous system feel safe, alive, and energized. Play, by definition, if you look it up, is to engage in an activity for enjoyment and recreation rather than a serious or practical purpose. And this definition is the very reason we abandon it because we are taught as we grow up that our worth is tied to our productivity, that play is something we need to grow out of in the name of pressing responsibilities, and that doing something for the sake of doing without purpose or outcome is frivolous. But by being told these things, by internalizing them, we lost the very thing that helps us regulate our nervous systems the fastest, and that's play. Now, I won't nerd out on the science too much, but I do want to give a quick foundation because I think this part really matters. So, as mammals, we are born with 7 foundational circuits in our brain. These circuits correspond to the primary emotional systems that we are born with. So those are seeking, rage, fear, lust, care, panic, and play. Now, it feels pretty wild that play made the list, but it shows you just how important it is. It's not a nice to have. It is literally wired into us just as deeply as our need for food or sleep or connection. So here's a perfect example. Hunters and gatherers. You know them, you love them, you're here because of them. They were constantly navigating stressful life or death events. But after a hunt or threat or long day of foraging and staying alert, humans did not just collapse in silence, right? They told stories, they danced, they laughed, played games, sang. In one shared moment around a fire, they activated most of those core emotional circuits at once. So, seeking through curiosity and exploration, care through connection and bonding, play through movement and humor, and even traces of fear or excitement, right? That was safely metabolized through storytelling. So play wasn't this extra thing, it was how the nervous system completed the stress cycle. And again, what we're doing inside of camp is essentially recreating this integration, but for our modern systems. So instead of a like fire and tribe Situation, we use tiny play experiments that help your system complete the stress it's been holding on to. But it is summer camp themed, so there's kind of fire and tribe vibes too. So when you're burnt out, or even just mildly depleted or feeling a little bit dim, and our nervous system is stuck in that survival mode. So, survival mode, right, is fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Play biologically is one of the fastest ways to reset that system. It sends a signal to your brain that says, I'm okay now, and reactivates the parts that go offline during chronic stress. You can think of play as a bridge. So it's a bridge that takes us from survival mode into a regulated state. When we laugh or move or explore or like get lost in something that feels good for no reason other than feeling good, our brain releases dopamine and oxytocin, right? These are the chemicals that, are motivation and pleasure and connection. It's also what allows our creativity to come back online. And it helps us problem solve again, right? Helps with that executive functioning and reminds us that we are more than our productivity. So if you've ever felt more clear or creative or alive after laughing or moving your body or doing something just to do it, like that's not an accident. Now, we are told that burnout requires rest, and rest is important. Do not get me wrong here. But many people rest and still feel flat or numb or disconnected. And that's because rest quiets the system, but it doesn't necessarily always reignite it. Burnout isn't about exhaustion. That is part of it, but it's really a loss of aliveness. So when we're under chronic stress, like deadlines and financial pressure and caregiving and constant stimulation, our nervous systems do get stuck in that survival mode. And while we become efficient and productive, we are disconnected, which is why scrolling or binging or zoning out or collapsing on the couch doesn't always restore us, even when we're tired. So, play is one of the fastest ways to bring the system back online because it's already inside of us. It introduces movement and novelty and curiosity and expression, all the things the nervous system needs to shift out of survival mode and back into engagement. Now, the part of play that most people miss is that it's not the same for everyone, which is why some people light up during karaoke night and others would rather die. So, all of us have a natural play style. This is the way we come alive. Some people recharge through creating, some people through movement, others through competition or collecting, humor, leading, exploration, storytelling. When we try to play in a way that doesn't match our nervous system and what feels good for us, it feels forced. And so we just assume play isn't for us. But when play matches your natural play style, it becomes energizing instead of draining. And we stop comparing ourselves to other people's versions of fun. So, before I introduce the 8 play styles, I want you to just think about a time recently where you felt a flicker of lightness or curiosity or excitement or presence. What were you doing? You can jot these down in your notes. If you'd like to share in the chat, that's awesome too. But think about a time where you really lost track of time. And I'll give you a couple minutes. Oh, thank you for sharing. Okay, you wrote down watercolors, drawing, skiing, shoveling snow. I love that. See, even a seemingly mundane task of shoveling snow becomes meditative when you are open and curious to it. Playing with a puzzle, coloring book. I'm in a big puzzle phase or a coloring book phase right now, so I relate. Cooking, playing with your cats. Yes. Animals and children are the gateway drug of play. If anyone else would like to share, feel free to drop it in. Game nights. Yes. Love a game night. Ooh, yes. Reading is also a big one, especially when you're sucked into the story and excited about the narrative and get cast away to another world. Journaling, writing, reading, art galleries, love, dancing, creating art, cooking, amazing. These are all This is all play. Every single one of these is play. It is a variety of play styles, watching a really great movie, getting lost in something. So, yeah, these all are different versions of play. It's just we sometimes don't realize that because we don't have the language behind it. But really, play is anything you do where you lose track of time. And so all of these qualify. So I'm going to describe each of the 8 play styles to you. This is according to Dr. Stuart Brown. He is the founder of the National Institute of Play, a truly amazing human. And I want you to think about these flickers and these, moments that brought stillness and how it might connect to one of these play styles. Generally speaking, we all have one primary style, but we also have 2 to 3 that we tend to cycle through. So I'm going to first drop these into the chat, and then I'm going to explain each of them in a little more detail. Okay. Disregard the lack of formatting. Okay. So the first one is the collector. The collector gets joy from gathering, curating, and appreciating things. So, what this means is that this person lights up by collecting little treasures. It does not have to be a physical treasure. It could be someone who likes collecting experiences, for example. So what this might look like on a more granular level is saving screenshots of quotes or memes or maybe like a Pinterest board of beautiful rooms. It could be curating a playlist with different moods. It could be collecting rocks or shells or thrifted objects. Or maybe it's organizing photos or books or even tabs in your browser. If you have like a gorgeous browser, you might be a collector. For collectors, play isn't about doing something new. It's about noticing and appreciating. So if you've ever felt calm organizing something that's, just for you, that's play. Competitors are energized by challenge, games, and winning. So this isn't about being aggressive or hyper competitive. It's about clear goals and feedback, like measurable goals. So this could be timing yourself on a walk or on a run and trying to beat your own pace. People always talk about PRs, personal records. That's very competitor energy. It could also be like New York Times games, Wordle, Duolingo streaks, like something where you're doing the game, but you're also working on doing it every day and being like, oh my God, 300 days of Duolingo, which is impressive. It could also be friendly competition. with a partner or friend. So maybe it's pickleball or something like that. Or it could be kind of turning chores into a like, how fast can I finish this game? So for competitors, play brings focus and awareness, but it's not pressure. It only becomes draining when the stakes feel too high. The next one is a creator. Creators enjoy making, building, or inventing. Now, this is probably the most recognized play style, but it does not have to be artistic or even impressive. Creator play can look like doodling while on a call or doodling between calls. That is my favorite hack. Between meetings, instead of grabbing my phone to scroll, I just keep a doodle pad next to my desk. Some very interesting stuff in there. It could also be rearranging a room, giving it new energy, or cooking without a recipe, or writing for no audience, or making something that's like kind of pointless and you can stop halfway. Like it's not about being impressive or perfect, it's just about the creation, not the outcome. If it needs to be good, then it's not play anymore. And that's where we get stuck. When we hear play, we say we're bad at it because we're not creators, or we are creators, but we're doing it for it to be this beautiful thing in the end. The next play style is director. Directors love orchestrating, leading, organizing playful experiences. So, directors don't always want to participate, but they do love setting the stage. So, this can look like planning trips or themed dinners. It could be making a playlist for gatherings. Now, this is where things get fun because I had mentioned playlists for collectors, but playlists for collectors, they're making a playlist specifically for the collection of songs under that theme. So the intention really matters. Making playlists here as a director is because you want to have it for this gathering, because you want the gathering to be orchestrated perfectly. So that's kind of what's cool about play styles, because you can meet someone in a different play style doing the same thing. You just get different things out of it. Back to the director. Another thing directors love is hosting game nights or organizing group chats or some sort of event and designing experiences for other people to enjoy. So, this is play as long as it's not out of obligation. If you feel like you're doing it because you have to or because someone assigned it to you, then that's not play. But when it's chosen, it is energizing. Um, Whereas when it's expected, it's can be exhausting. Next, we have explorer. So, explorers thrive on discovery, curiosity, and novelty. This one is all about newness. It's not like adrenaline. It's more you like like a like ex new experiences. So, explorer play might look like walking a different route home or trying a new coffee shop or restaurant or snack. Even like clicking around Wikipedia and you like, if you like to do deep dives on people or content or places, that's very much explorer energy. Traveling, I think traveling is one of the number one ways adults play. And that is a little bit of explorer energy where you're kind of, you know, exposed to a lot of novelty. You could even just explore a new neighborhood within the city or town you live in. Or I guess you can't, yeah, or a town you live in. It's also learning something new just because it's interesting. So if your, friend has a lot of fun facts, they might be exploring the internet. If you feel more alive when things feel slightly unfamiliar, that's your system waking up through exploration. Next, we have the kinesthete. Kinesthete is also called a mover. So this is someone who just loves movement, touch, more physical play. It's not about working out. It's about like really feeling into your body. So this could be like stretching or dancing alone or dancing in the car. It could be yoga or climbing or swimming. Um, it could even be if you like weighted blankets or like warm showers or massages. Like this is anything that really brings you back into your body. So, if stillness makes you feel more anxious and movement brings relief, then you might be a kinesthete. And then we have the Joker. So, Jokers are inherently playful, humorous, and mischief oriented. But I will say they're not necessarily always the life of the party, but they just regulate through laughter and lightness. So, this might look like sending memes or playful teasing or pranks or inside jokes, or making things, anyone who makes things a little weird on purpose. It's not, this isn't like avoiding what's happening. Humor for jokers help metabolize stress. So if laughter really makes you feel human again, that is your nervous system exhaling. And then finally, we have the storyteller. So, storytellers are energized by narrative, imagination, and role play. So, this is really play through imagination 100%. So, if you like journaling, daydreaming, reading fiction, role playing, D&D, fantasy, reframing your life as a story instead of a problem to solve. If you like to narrate your dog's day, I don't know. If meaning making brings you comfort or clarity, that is play doing its job. And this also shows up as like getting lost in a show as well. Um, yeah, so you can notice how none of these require more time or money or energy than you already have. And play doesn't ask you to become someone else. It just asks you to come back to who you already are. Okay, did one of these resonate for you, or did a few of these resonate for you? I'd love for you to let me know in the chat. I know for a lot of you, we've got a good amount of creator energy in here from the little sparks you mentioned. We have some director energy, kinesthete energy. Which one resonated with you the most? Storyteller, Joker. Yeah, nice. Creator, explorer, storyteller, explorer. Yes, definitely. Creator, storyteller, director, and explorer. I love it. Creator, Joker, storyteller, creator, mover, collector. Awesome. Anyone else? Okay. Cool. Yeah, so as you can see, play isn't this one size fits all approach to life. You really can pull from and pull at different play styles depending on what's accessible to you in the moment and also what you need. Some days maybe it's not feasible to go for a walk around the block or go to a new neighborhood, but there are ways in which we can regulate using these play styles that can be anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes, which is what we will talk about now. And inside camp, we actually map your play styles and build experiments around your nervous system. This way, you're not copying someone else's idea of fun and wondering why it isn't working, which guilty. Okay. The most important thing I want you to leave with today is that play does not have to be time consuming or like this big grand gesture. A nervous system shift can happen for you in under 2 minutes, as I mentioned. So your body isn't responding to duration when it is trying to regulate or when you are moving into play. It's responding to quality. So your nervous system is listening for four specific signals. And if you hit one or two of these, regulation can begin almost immediately. So the four signals of play-based regulation are the first is novelty. So something that's just even a little new. It could be a different movement. It could be a different sound. It could be a different perspective. Novelty tells the brain we're not stuck. The second is pleasure. This is not dopamine chasing pleasure. This is just something that feels good in your body. Excuse me. It can be as simple as warmth, softness, texture, comfort, sunlight, even. Something that basically makes your body go, ah. The third one is curiosity. Curiosity does not mean outcome or pressure. It just means like, what happens if I try this? It is like openness. And that openness moves us out of fear and into engagement. And then the fourth is expression. So letting something move through you. This could be a sound or movement or creativity or humor. Expression completes that stress cycle. You're expressing it. Now, again, you do not need all four and you don't need to have like a perfect setup. You just need enough for your nervous system to like flag and signal to your brain like, okay, I am safe. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a 60-second regulation experiment. And this will use two of these signals, so pleasure and expression. Now, just don't worry, I can't see you or hear you. So please do this. I will love to hear how you feel. But all right, we're gonna start by dropping your shoulders. So drop your shoulders, maybe give yourself a little sway, get some movement going, soften your jaw. We keep a lot of tension there. Great. Okay, now move your hands or shoulders in a way that feels good. There is no right way. So for me, my shoulders are really tight. Okay, and roll them back. Maybe you want to shake your hands out or trace some circles. Now I want you to add a sigh or a hum or some sort of noise. Again, I can't hear you. Hmm. If you want to stand, no one's stopping you. So even if this feels subtle, it is still regulation. You're basically cultivating presence and getting out of your head and into your body. You're noticing your sensations, right? You're like, oh, yeah, my neck's a little tight, or like my jaw is kind of sore. Maybe I was grinding my teeth last night, or my shoulders are tight, or my back hurts. Like, we spend so much time living in our heads that we kind of forget about this mind-body connection. And that connection is where that nervous system regulation lies. And that's why a quick doodle or a playful stretch or singing in the car or laughing with a friend can change how you feel faster than an hour of like trying to relax and laying on the couch. So I put together a micro reset guide. So this basically has a few different ideas for each play style that you can do in 30 seconds to 5 minutes. So definitely make sure you wrote down elsewhere what play styles resonated with you. I'm going to drop this PDF in the chat so you can reference it, so you can download it and then reference it later. But try some things out depending on what your play style looks like. And you will also get this in an email. So after the session, I will send you a recording of this talk and the micro reset guide. So if you can't don't download it now for some reason because you've dialed in, no stress. Okay, there's that guide. Okay, cool. Yeah, make sure if you can download it now, feel free. I will follow up in an email. Perfect. So this is exactly what we build on inside of camp. So again, this is my 6-week online program that I'm calling an adventure back to yourself. It's basically designed like an online summer camp where each week is a playful theme. So there's field day and treasure hunt and arts and crafts. Everything is super grounded in nervous system regulation and burnout recovery, but is playful, obviously. So you don't need to be creative or disciplined or motivated to join something like this, or to experiment with play in your life. If you are tired or busy or shy or feeling this like disconnection, this is for you. So we start on Monday, the 26th. Everyone here gets $50 off with the code workshop, all caps. I'll drop the link in the chat. But if you are interested in exploring that, it is a self-paced course that is held within a live cohort. So, what that means is we move through the material together over the same 6 weeks, but you engage with the content on your own time and in your own way. So, you have structure and support and shared momentum without the pressure to keep up with anyone else. So, just logistics every Monday, new lessons drop. Each video is 1 to 5 minutes long. They are super, super short. This is where you'll get your playful prompts and experiments for the week. And these will help you integrate what you've learned. Every Wednesday, we have an hour-long Zoom call. This is for questions, support, and group coaching. If you can't join, they are recorded, so you can watch them every time, anytime, and it is optional. So if you don't feel like joining for all 6 weeks, totally cool. The time for this will be scheduled based on the cohort. So an email will go out to coordinate what that looks like with everyone. And then the entire program is hosted inside of Circle. If you are not familiar with the platform Circle, it essentially is similar to the community or connection element of Slack or Facebook groups. It is super intuitive to use. So all you do is when you register for the course, you will create an account and then you get right in there. It's super fun. And you can expect to spend, I would say, 5 to 8 minutes per day engaging with lessons, prompts, reflections, community conversations. But this is flexible. So everything is designed to fit your real life. Like there's no obligation. You don't have to show up for everything. You don't have to show up perfectly. And you could batch these, right? Like you could spend the day like going through the lessons and doing some things, or you could do a little bit each day. Like this is really meant to fit in your real life if you want to access more of that play and joy and like connection with community. We've really, I think, lost that element so much when we live our lives online. So, super exciting stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to stay on and chat with me. Otherwise, I just want to thank you all so much for joining me. Let me just pop this in the chat real quick. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Okay, so as I said, if you want to stay on and chat with me, please do. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Going to give you a little bit of time back here. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, my handle is at play is self-care, and I put a lot of fun, playful tips and tricks out there. So anyway, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.